My dear friends, let us take a moment to connect with the love and light that surrounds us. In this life, we will encounter a vast array of energies, some nurturing, some challenging. Every person we meet offers us an opportunity to learn, grow, and make choices that align with our highest good. However, there are times when we must recognize the presence of darkness and protect our hearts. Today we will explore 5 signs that someone may be bringing harm into your life. By identifying these signs with clarity and compassion, you empower yourself to create boundaries that honor your soul's journey. Manipulation is a subtle but powerful force that can weave its way into our relationships, often without us realizing it until we feel the weight of its effects. It takes many forms: small, seemingly harmless gestures or large, overt actions, and its purpose is always the same: to control, deceive, or dominate. At its core, manipulation distorts reality, leaving you doubting yourself and questioning your worth. When you encounter someone who prefers manipulation over truth, you are dealing with an energy that does not honor authenticity or respect your emotional integrity. The manipulator's most insidious tool is confusion. They twist words, reshape events, and create a narrative that serves their own interests while leaving you unsure of what to believe. They may say one thing but do another, or they might deny their actions entirely, even when confronted with clear evidence. This constant shifting makes it hard for you to find solid ground, and over time it can erode your confidence in your own perceptions. You may start to second-guess your feelings, your memory, or even your sanity. This is no accident. It is how manipulation works. It thrives on doubt, feeding off your uncertainty to gain control. A person who manipulates does not operate from a place of love or respect. Instead, their actions are driven by a desire to dominate or achieve their goals at any cost. They may use flattery, guilt, or fear to get what they want, often making you feel responsible for their emotions or decisions. For example, they might say, "If you really cared about me, you'd do this," or "You're the only person who can fix this for me." These statements are not appeals to mutual understanding or partnership. They are tactics designed to make you feel obligated or trapped. Over time, this behavior can leave you emotionally drained as you constantly strive to meet their needs or avoid their disapproval. One of the most painful aspects of manipulation is how it undermines trust. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of honesty and mutual respect, where both parties feel safe to express themselves and share their truths. Manipulation, however, replaces trust with suspicion. You begin to notice inconsistencies in their stories or behavior, and you may feel the need to question everything they say. This creates a toxic cycle where communication breaks down, and instead of feeling supported, you feel isolated and on edge. It's important to recognize that manipulation is not always obvious. Sometimes it can masquerade as concern or kindness. A manipulative person might present themselves as someone who only wants the best for you, offering unsolicited advice or taking control of situations for your own good. At first, this might feel comforting, but over time, you may realize that their actions are less about helping you and more about exerting influence. They may dismiss your opinions or decisions, subtly implying that you are incapable of making the right choices without their guidance. This can chip away at your independence, leaving you feeling powerless and dependent. The first step in addressing manipulation is to become aware of it. Pay attention to how you feel in the presence of someone who often leaves you confused, guilty, or unsure. Are their words and actions consistent? Do they respect your boundaries and opinions? Trust your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. Manipulation thrives in an environment where the truth is obscured, so bringing clarity to your interactions can help you reclaim your power. Speak your truth firmly and calmly, And don't be afraid to ask direct questions. A manipulator may react with defensiveness or anger, but their response is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their own insecurities. Setting boundaries is another essential step. When someone manipulates, they often test the limits of what you will tolerate. By clearly defining and enforcing your boundaries, you send a message that you value yourself and will not allow others to distort your reality. This might mean saying no to unreasonable requests, refusing to engage in arguments designed to confuse or guilt you, or limiting your time and energy around someone who consistently manipulates. Remember, protecting your peace is not selfish, it's an act of self-love. It's also important to cultivate relationships that nurture honesty and mutual respect. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who value open communication, and who celebrate your growth and individuality. These relationships serve as a reminder of what healthy interactions look and feel like, making it easier to recognize and distance yourself from manipulative behavior. Affirm to yourself, I deserve relationships built on trust, respect, and truth. Finally, let go of the need to fix or change the manipulator. Their behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not your responsibility. You cannot heal someone who is unwilling to acknowledge their own actions or take accountability for the harm they cause. What you can do is choose to honor yourself by stepping away from situations that do not serve your highest good. Declare with conviction, I release the need for approval or validation from anyone who does not respect my truth. In choosing truth over manipulation, you align yourself with the energy of love, freedom, and authenticity. You reclaim your voice, your power, and your sense of self-worth. You are worthy of relationships that honor your light and nurture your spirit. Trust that as you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for the blessings and connections that truly align with your soul's journey. Empathy is the thread that weaves us together, the bridge that connects one heart to another. It allows us to understand, share, and respond to the feelings of those around us. Empathy is not just an act, it is a profound way of being. It fosters kindness, compassion, and a sense of belonging. When empathy is absent, relationships lose their depth and warmth, leaving behind a void that can be both painful and isolating. A lack of empathy manifests in various ways, often subtle at first. You may notice someone dismissing your feelings or failing to acknowledge the challenges you are facing. When you share something meaningful or vulnerable, they might respond with indifference or even judgment. They may change the subject, make light of your emotions, or offer advice that feels detached and impersonal. Over time, this absence of understanding creates a disconnect, making it difficult to feel truly seen or valued in their presence. This lack of connection is not always intentional, but its effects are undeniable. Without empathy, relationships can become one-sided. You might find yourself giving more than you receive, supporting others while your own needs go unmet. It can feel as though you are speaking into a void, where your emotions are neither heard nor held. This imbalance can leave you feeling drained, unseen, and unworthy of care, a heavy burden to carry, especially when you've opened your heart with the hope of mutual understanding. Empathy is the cornerstone of emotional safety. When it is absent, you may find yourself walking on eggshells, afraid to express your feelings for fear of being dismissed or criticized. Instead of feeling supported, you may feel invalidated or misunderstood, which can lead to self-doubt and isolation. It is important to recognize that this is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a limitation in the other person's ability to connect on a deeper level. People who lack empathy often struggle with their own emotional awareness. They may be so consumed by their own needs and experiences that they cannot fully see or appreciate those of others. This self-centered perspective can make them appear cold, detached, or even cruel. For instance, when you share a moment of joy, they may seem disinterested or envious rather than happy for you. When you share your pain, they may respond with impatience or minimize your feelings by saying, "It's not that bad," or "You'll get over it." These reactions can feel like a rejection of your humanity, leaving you wondering why your emotions seem to matter so little. One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with a lack of empathy is the way it can make you question yourself. You may start to wonder if you are asking for too much or being overly sensitive. This self-doubt can lead to a cycle of suppressing your feelings, convincing yourself that your needs are insignificant. Over time, this can erode your sense of self-worth and make it difficult to trust your instincts. Recognizing a lack of empathy in someone close to you can be painful, especially if you've invested time and energy into the relationship. It is natural to hope that they will change or that you can help them see the impact of their actions. However, it is important to remember that empathy is not something you can force or teach. It must come from within. While some people may develop greater empathy through self-reflection and growth, others may remain unaware or unwilling to change. The absence of empathy does not mean you are powerless. You have the ability to protect your emotional well-being by setting boundaries and surrounding yourself with people who value and honor your feelings. Boundaries are a way of saying, "I respect myself enough to protect my heart." They create space for you to heal, grow, and seek out relationships that are nurturing and reciprocal. As you navigate relationships with those who lack empathy, it is essential to practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that your emotions are valid and deserving of acknowledgement, regardless of how others respond. Affirm, "My feelings matter, and I honor them with kindness and care." By prioritizing your own emotional health, you can begin to rebuild your confidence and trust in yourself. It is also helpful to seek connections with people who embody empathy and kindness. Surrounding yourself with individuals who listen, care, and understand can remind you of what healthy, supportive relationships feel like. These connections serve as a beacon, guiding you toward a life filled with love, respect, and authenticity. Finally, let go of the need to change those who cannot meet you with empathy. Release any guilt or frustration you may feel about their inability to connect. Their journey is their own, and you are not responsible for their growth or healing. What you can do is choose to honor your own journey by seeking relationships that uplift and inspire you. When empathy is absent, it can leave a deep void, but it also creates an opportunity to reflect on what you truly need and deserve. By recognizing the importance of empathy, you can make conscious choices to surround yourself with people and experiences that nurture your heart. Affirm to yourself, "I deserve relationships filled with kindness, understanding, and love." Trust that by honoring your own emotional needs, you are creating space for the abundance and joy that await you. One of the most troubling and harmful behaviors to encounter is the enjoyment of another's pain. This behavior, often subtle at first, reveals a profound misalignment with love, compassion, and humanity. When someone takes pleasure in seeing others struggle, falter, or hurt, they are not only revealing their own wounded nature, but also creating an atmosphere of negativity that can deeply impact those around them. Recognizing this trait is essential for protecting your emotional well-being and maintaining relationships that are healthy and life-affirming. People who derive enjoyment from others' pain often hide this tendency behind humor, sarcasm, or even acts of false concern. For example, they may mock your struggles in a way that feels hurtful, but then dismiss your feelings by saying, "I was just joking." This tactic minimizes your emotions while allowing them to continue their behavior unchecked. Over time, these actions create a sense of unease and mistrust. You might find yourself questioning whether their words or actions are meant to harm, and this uncertainty can be emotionally draining. This type of behavior can also manifest in more overt ways. Some individuals openly celebrate others' misfortunes, treating setbacks or failures as entertainment. They may revel in gossip, eagerly sharing negative stories about others to highlight their weaknesses or struggles. When someone you know seems energized by tales of others' difficulties, it is a sign of an unhealthy dynamic. Their joy at another's expense reflects an inner void, a lack of empathy, kindness, and self-awareness. One of the most damaging aspects of encountering someone who enjoys the pain of others is the erosion of trust it causes. Relationships thrive on mutual support, care, and understanding, but this behavior fosters the opposite. Instead of feeling uplifted or protected, you may feel vulnerable and exposed. Sharing your vulnerabilities with someone who takes pleasure in your pain can feel like handing them ammunition. You may find yourself withholding your struggles or joys out of fear that they will twist them into something harmful. This guardedness can lead to feelings of isolation, as the very people you hope to lean on become sources of discomfort. At its core, the enjoyment of others' pain is a reflection of inner turmoil. People who exhibit this behavior are often deeply disconnected from their own emotions. They may have unresolved feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or bitterness that manifest as a desire to bring others down to their level. Instead of addressing their own struggles, they project their pain outward, using others as scapegoats or distractions. While this behavior is harmful, it is also a sign of a soul in need of healing, a reminder that hurt people often hurt others. However, understanding the root cause of this behavior does not mean you must tolerate it. Your well-being is not negotiable, and it is essential to create boundaries that protect your heart from unnecessary harm. When you encounter someone who seems to enjoy the pain of others, take note of how their behavior affects you. Do you feel diminished, unworthy, or emotionally drained in their presence? Are their words or actions chipping away at your confidence or sense of peace? These feelings are important signals guiding you to evaluate whether this relationship aligns with your values and needs. Protecting yourself from harmful behavior begins with awareness. When someone's actions reveal a pattern of enjoying others' pain, it is crucial to acknowledge it without making excuses for them. You may feel tempted to rationalize their behavior, especially if they are close to you, but doing so can perpetuate the cycle. Instead, affirm to yourself, "I deserve relationships that honor my dignity and uplift my spirit." Setting boundaries is a powerful act of self-love. This might mean limiting your interactions with someone who displays this behavior or addressing their actions directly. If you feel safe doing so, calmly express how their behavior affects you. For example, you might say, "When you laugh at my struggles, it makes me feel unsupported and hurt." While they may or may not respond with understanding, speaking your truth allows you to reclaim your power and stand firmly in your self-respect. It is also important to seek relationships that embody kindness and mutual respect. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your successes and offer genuine support during challenges. These connections remind you of what healthy relationships look and feel like, making it easier to distance yourself from toxic dynamics. Affirm, "I am worthy of love, respect, and compassion." Finally, practice self-compassion as you navigate these situations. It is natural to feel hurt, confused, or even angry when someone takes pleasure in your pain. Allow yourself to process these emotions without judgment. Remind yourself that their behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not a measure of your worth. Release any guilt or obligation to fix or change them, and focus instead on nurturing your own healing and growth. When you choose to step away from relationships that thrive on harm, you create space for greater joy, peace, and connection in your life. By honoring your boundaries and prioritizing your well-being, you affirm your inherent value and align yourself with the energy of love and light. Declare with confidence, I release all that does not serve my highest good. I welcome relationships that nurture my soul and reflect my divine worth. Trust that by letting go of negativity, you make room for the abundance and harmony you deserve. Deceit is a betrayal of trust, one of the most fundamental elements of any healthy relationship. When deceit becomes habitual, a constant, repetitive pattern, it creates a toxic environment where truth is eroded and manipulation takes its place. Living in the shadow of habitual deceit can leave you feeling disoriented, disheartened, and ungrounded, as if the very foundation of your connection with another person has been shaken. It is essential to recognize this behavior and its impact on your emotional well-being so you can protect yourself and seek relationships grounded in honesty and authenticity. A person who engages in habitual deceit often creates a web of lies, weaving their stories so intricately that it becomes difficult to distinguish fact from fiction. They might lie about small, seemingly insignificant things, details that don't even seem worth lying about. This is often a tactic to normalize dishonesty, making you question your instincts and gradually eroding your ability to trust what they say. Over time, these small lies can grow into larger fabrications as the deceiver becomes more comfortable and confident in their ability to manipulate the truth. One of the hallmarks of habitual deceit is inconsistency. The person may tell one story today and an entirely different version tomorrow, forgetting or disregarding the lies they've told before. These discrepancies can leave you feeling confused and uncertain. You might find yourself trying to piece together the truth, replaying conversations in your mind, or even confronting them about the inconsistencies only to be met with defensiveness, further lies, or attempts to deflect the blame onto you. This pattern can make you feel as though you are losing your grip on reality, a form of emotional manipulation often referred to as gaslighting. Living with or around someone who habitually deceives can create an atmosphere of distrust that seeps into every aspect of your relationship. You may begin to second-guess everything they say, no matter how trivial. Even their moments of apparent honesty are tainted by doubt, as you wonder if their words are yet another layer of deception. This constant state of vigilance can be emotionally exhausting, leaving you drained and unable to relax in their presence. Trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild, especially when the deceit is ongoing and intentional. Habitual deceit is not just about lying, it is also about control. A person who lies habitually often does so to gain an advantage, manipulate outcomes, or avoid accountability. They may use deceit as a means to maintain power in the relationship, keeping you in a state of uncertainty so they can dictate the narrative. For example, they might lie about their whereabouts, their intentions, or their feelings, leaving you unsure of where you stand with them. This can create a dynamic in which you feel compelled to constantly seek reassurance, further reinforcing their control. One of the most painful aspects of habitual deceit is the way it undermines your sense of self-worth. When someone you care about lies to you repeatedly, it can feel like a personal attack, as though they believe you are not deserving of the truth. You might find yourself wondering why they don't respect you enough to be honest, or questioning what you could have done differently to prevent the lies. These thoughts can lead to feelings of inadequacy, guilt, and self-blame, all of which are misplaced. The truth is, their deceit is a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, or character flaws, not a measure of your value. Recognizing habitual deceit for what it is allows you to take back your power. The first step is to trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Pay attention to patterns of behavior, not just isolated incidents. Habitual deceit often follows a predictable cycle: the lie, the discovery, the excuse or denial, and then the continuation of the behavior. Once you identify this cycle, you can begin to make choices that prioritize your well-being. Setting boundaries is crucial when dealing with someone who lies habitually. You do not need to accept their behavior or engage in their manipulations. Communicate your expectations clearly and calmly, and be prepared to enforce consequences if those boundaries are crossed. For example, you might decide to limit your interactions with them or remove yourself from situations where their dishonesty causes harm. These actions are not about punishing them, they are about protecting yourself. It is also important to surround yourself with people who value honesty and integrity. Healthy relationships are built on mutual trust, where both parties feel safe to express themselves authentically. Seek out connections with individuals who honor your truth and respect your boundaries. These relationships will help remind you of what is possible when honesty is the foundation. Finally, practice self-compassion as you navigate the challenges of dealing with habitual deceit. It is natural to feel hurt, betrayed, or even angry, but holding on to those emotions can weigh you down. Allow yourself to grieve the loss of trust and the damage caused by their actions, but don't let it define your future. Affirm to yourself, I am worthy of relationships built on truth and respect. I release the need to carry the weight of another's dishonesty. By choosing to honor your own values and surround yourself with honesty, you create a life that aligns with your highest good. Habitual deceit may shake the foundations of trust, but it does not have to define your relationships or your self-worth. Trust in your ability to discern the truth, set boundaries, and seek connections that nurture your spirit. In doing so, you reclaim your power and open the door to a life filled with authenticity and love. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define our personal space, needs, and values. They are essential for maintaining healthy relationships and preserving our emotional well-being. When boundaries are respected, relationships thrive in a mutual atmosphere of understanding, trust, and care. However, when someone disregards your boundaries, it creates an imbalance that can lead to feelings of frustration, violation, and even self-doubt. Recognizing and addressing this behavior is essential for safeguarding your sense of self and maintaining harmony in your life. Disregard for boundaries often begins subtly. A person might interrupt you when you're speaking, invade your personal space, or push you to share information or do things that make you uncomfortable. These actions may seem minor at first, but over time they add up, creating a pattern that undermines your ability to feel secure and respected. For example, someone might insist on knowing every detail of your life, even when you've expressed a desire for privacy. Or they might make decisions on your behalf without consulting you, assuming they know what's best for you. While these actions may sometimes appear well-intentioned, they signal a deeper lack of respect for your autonomy and individuality. One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with someone who disregards boundaries is the way their behavior can make you question your own needs and limits. You might start to feel guilty for asserting yourself or worry that you're being too rigid or unreasonable. This internal conflict is often exacerbated by the person's reactions. They might dismiss your concerns, accuse you of overreacting, or even attempt to make you feel selfish for wanting to maintain your boundaries. This emotional manipulation can make it difficult to stand firm, especially if the person is someone you care about deeply. At its core, a disregard for boundaries is a form of control. People who consistently cross boundaries often do so to assert dominance, fulfill their own needs, or avoid taking responsibility for their actions. They may ignore your no because they don't believe it applies to them, or they may test your limits to see how far they can push you. In some cases, they may even frame their actions as acts of love or care, saying things like, "I only do this because I care about you," or "I know what's best for you." These justifications are designed to shift the focus away from their behavior and onto you, making it harder for you to hold them accountable. The impact of boundary violations can be profound. Over time, you may start to feel disempowered, as though your voice and choices no longer matter. This can lead to feelings of resentment, anger, and even hopelessness. You might find yourself avoiding confrontation or giving in to their demands just to keep the peace, even when doing so goes against your values or well-being. This pattern can erode your self-esteem, leaving you feeling trapped in a dynamic where your needs are consistently overlooked. It's important to remember that setting and maintaining boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-respect. Boundaries are a way of honoring your own needs while also fostering healthy, respectful relationships. When someone disregards your boundaries, it is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a sign of their inability or unwillingness to respect others. Recognizing this distinction is the first step toward reclaiming your power. Addressing boundary violations requires clarity and confidence. Start by identifying what your boundaries are and why they are important to you. Ask yourself what makes you feel safe, valued, and respected in your relationships. Once you have a clear understanding of your needs, communicate them assertively and without apology. For example, you might say, "I need some time to myself right now," or "I'm not comfortable discussing that topic." Remember, you do not owe anyone an explanation or justification for your boundaries. They are yours to set and maintain. When someone continues to disregard your boundaries despite your efforts to communicate them, it may be necessary to enforce consequences. This might mean limiting your interactions with them, seeking support from others, or in some cases, ending the relationship altogether. While these actions can be difficult, they are sometimes necessary to protect your emotional well-being and create space for healthier connections. Surrounding yourself with people who respect and honor your boundaries is essential for cultivating a supportive and nurturing environment. Seek out relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding, where your needs and limits are acknowledged and valued. These connections will remind you of the importance of standing firm in your boundaries and encourage you to continue prioritizing your well-being. Finally, practice self-compassion as you navigate these challenges. It is natural to feel frustrated, hurt, or even guilty when dealing with someone who disregards your boundaries. Allow yourself to feel these emotions without judgment and remind yourself that your boundaries are a reflection of your self-worth. Affirm, "I deserve relationships that honor my needs and values. I am worthy of respect and care." By standing firm in your boundaries, you reclaim your power and send a clear message about how you deserve to be treated. You create a foundation for relationships that are grounded in mutual respect, trust, and love. Trust in your ability to protect your well-being, and know that by honoring your own boundaries, you are also creating a life that aligns with your highest good. Beloved, as we walk through life, let us remember that recognizing harmful behaviors does not mean dwelling in fear or anger. Instead, it is an act of love for ourselves. When we choose to distance ourselves from harmful energies, we make space for kindness, healing, and joy. Affirm today, "I deserve relationships that nurture my light, and I lovingly release anything that dims my spirit." Go forth knowing that your intuition is your greatest guide, and you are always supported by the divine light of love.